everyone, I'm Jules from WhatCulture.com, here with...
Peter from WhatCulture.com.
That's right, he is definitely from WhatCulture.com. He's What Culture material, he's premium content.
Premium.
And today we are going to be talking about a little game called...
Little Nightmares.
Ooh, spooky stuff. And this is going to be basically our new review style, isn't it, Peter?
Yeah, me and Ben mentioned that in a chat we had about another game, and I don't remember which one. Was it Prey? I think it was Prey.
Or Prey 2?
Or Prey 2.
Right, okay.
We had a chat about Prey a couple of days ago, last week sometime.
Prey 2, yeah?
Prey 2.
Right, okay.
Depends if Simon Miller is present. But we said we'd be doing this new style.
Yep.
Generally, the idea is we're going to have a bit of a chat, bit of a looser feel. Mm-hmm. We're still going to hit the 3 or 4 main segments that we used to do and are more like scripted, more... I'm sort of wheezing. Why is that happening?
Are you dying? So it's going to be gameplay, narrative, presentation, and 3 things that you need to know about the game, but in a much more looser feel.
Yeah.
It'll be nice. It'll be like a friendly chat. And what we're going to try and do is have one person who has played the game and one person who hasn't. So it means that I can basically be you guys.
So let us know what you think of the new format, but let's get on with it.
So, how have you found Little Nightmares? Mm-hmm. What would you give it out of 5 if you had to give it a rating?
Out of 5? Okay.
Yeah.
I've played it all the way through. I've finished it.
Awesome.
And I really liked it. Now,
cool.
I was looking forward to its release. We saw it at Gamescom, me and Scott. And so I don't know if that has influenced my views on it as I was playing through, but irrespective of whether you know everything about this game or nothing, I think there are so many people out there who would get something out of this.
Cool.
And as a rating out of 5, it's a definite it's like an 8 or 8.5 out of 10, so it's like at least 4 stars, probably more like 4.5.
That's very highly rated.
It's going up on 9 out of 10 for me. You play as a little girl. She's called 6. She's roughly 6 years old, if not actually 6 years old. She's got a little yellow jacket on. And what's interesting, actually, is that the game, for one thing, in terms of the actual gameplay experience, nothing is ever explained. There's little to no written text anywhere, so it's very interpretational. But the thing that came with our press kit of the game, that was very kindly sent by Bandai Namco.
Thank you
very much, guys. The description of the game, the blurb on the back of the box, the heading above was hearsay.
Oh, okay.
So it says hearsay, and then it tells you about, there's this place called the Maw, M-A-W, which is like a big floating kind of tower sort of ship, but more it's like a building on the water.
Okay.
And it appears every so often, and people come on a boat to the Maw. Right. And they feed there. Okay. And that's all you're really told is that 6 wakes up
and she's there
in a dungeon, a cell on the Maw. Okay. And you've read this hearsay thing on the back of the box that says people turn up to feast.
But when you say turn up to feast, does that mean that you're on the menu? Is it that sort of thing?
Well, I mean, you would have to play the game to find out, but
that's an intriguing premise. It's kind of very abstract storytelling, isn't it? It's dumps you right in the middle of a situation and you kind of have to work backwards to understand why you're there.
And the thing is, by the time you get to the end, things aren't totally explained, but there are enough things for you to piece together, almost in a fan theory style, where you don't know what's the truth, but there are certain characters with certain roles that have been doing certain things to you or trying to catch you, and certain rooms you found, and you can piece that all together into a narrative. And certainly my version of events that I've just come up with in my head makes really good internal sense. I know who's in charge and who's working at the Maw and what they're trying to provide for people who are coming in. So none of it's ever explicitly confirmed, but there's no reason why. It's like Limbo. It's Inside as well. You don't know exactly what's going on, but that's not a downside to me. It's not so abstract and interpretational that it's who's that? Why is that happening? I don't know what's going on. There are kind of, I'm sort of stopping myself from saying things oh, this guy, he's there to do these things, and that's how I see it, but I don't want to spoil these things.
Yeah, no, I totally understand.
Essentially, the take-home message in terms of narrative is that as things progress, you will start to get a sense of your own version of events. Okay. And there are more than enough ways you can interpret this, I think, that aren't going to leave you feeling like, oh, well, that doesn't really stand up.
So it's kind of like personal storytelling.
In a way, yeah. This is like its major selling point for me.
Okay.
The thing that we were told at Gamescom when we saw the game that really captured my imagination instantly was that we'd seen some of the artwork while we were out on the show floor.
Yeah.
And then we went in to actually like play the game and have a go with it. And the people who were there were explaining this artwork that had been outside where Six is like this little girl and the room around her seems, it's not like a giant's house, but it's like a 9-foot person's house, and it's like, okay.
So just on the airing of that's a bit weird.
That's a bit weird. And I thought, oh, so is she like a little gnome, or is she human and it's like a giant's house? And actually what it is it's designed to be how a child sees the world.
Oh, okay.
And that really resonated with me. It like reminded me of once when I was a kid, and I was like 6 years old. And on top of my grandma's fridge, there was this tin that had sweets in it.
Right.
And it was like a skyscraper up there. I was wanting to get up there, and I just knew I wasn't going to be able to. And I managed to like pull a chair out and climb onto the chair and reach up and get this thing. And as I pulled it off, there was a dish on top of it, and the dish like fell on the kitchen floor.
What's this? So she knew instantly what you've been up to.
I broke my grandma's dish. She was in the room. I don't think she like. But I just felt it just made me think like that genuinely is how it feels.
Yeah.
And so the whole world
is super clever,
scaled up to, and it makes you feel like a child. And that's what Little Nightmares is about. The reason it's called Little Nightmares is that the things you encounter in the moor are almost in a Silent Hill kind of way. They're like representations of like childhood fears.
Oh, dude, that sounds fun.
The first sort of boss character that you encounter is a proper like bogeyman monster under the bed kind of guy. He's got like these long arms that come out, like alien long arms, like crazy stretchy things. And he's blind, so you can like walk past him, but if you make any sound, it's like proper, eerie stuff. And the presentation, even putting aside the fact that I love this whole scale of stuff, it's Tim Burton stop motion. That's what it is. Like
awesome.
Proper gothic. Specifically, it's like the opening number from Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, cool.
Where they're all singing, and it's like a spooky world, but there's like certain elements of like light to it.
Yeah.
But there's still like an overarching like unsettling kind of vibe.
Yeah. I mean, from what you described, it sounds less like it's straight up horror and more kind of like uncanny.
It's like a combination of Tim Burton's live action stuff, Labyrinth, if you've seen that.
Yeah, great film.
And I don't know, you can't shake this Limbo vibe off it. And not in a kind of way that you feel like it's copied it, but it just reminds you so much of that kind of, you're a child, you're alone in this like sinister world and you don't know what's going on. So it's like those things all put together. It's like one of the key selling points for it.
Excellent.
And I will also say that I was surprised constantly. So those of you who've been following this game and have seen the trailer and think, is there much more to it than that? Like, there are some really nice set pieces. Controls-wise, it's not a 10 out of 10.
Right.
It's... I think actually part of the problem is... because the world is scaled in a way that almost like your brain isn't expecting, I found my depth perception quite difficult sometimes. Like I'd feel like I was a little bit further away than I was because the world around you seems bigger, so it feels like you're further away because you're smaller.
Oh, right, okay.
But actually you're like a few feet closer. You do get used to it as you go, but like to begin with, I was just navigating some of the obstacles. You try and run around it and you end up running into it, and it's like, yeah, that's a bit weird. The controls in terms of, there's a lot of like pulling and pushing stuff to do the puzzle solving.
Yeah.
Again, like trying to grapple onto something is responsive enough. It doesn't let the game down, but it's not perfect.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So what you described there was puzzles.
Yes.
And there's some chase sequences as well. And so the majority, are there platforming elements to it?
Yeah, it's like there's a lot of platforming, a few puzzles that don't require any traversal. It's more sort of, there's some objects in the room and you have to work out
Just
what to do with them.
Sort of
yeah. There's an interesting mechanic actually where there's some buttons on the wall, and you have to pick up an object and throw it.
Yeah.
But there's no aim mechanic; it's all auto aim. So effectively, all you have to do is get close enough for her to.
She'll just do it.
And press the throw button, and she'll aim, and she should hit it.
Right.
But there's no visual indicator that you're close enough. So obviously you.
So you might do sometimes. You're just like.
Yeah. So if you press the throw button when she's not in one of these zones at which she can throw a thing, she will just drop it on the floor, and you're like,
right.
Okay, pick it up, move and it can be down to like 1 or 2 steps. It seems like quite a narrow margin. So.
You know what she needs?
Yeah?
She needs a 6th sense.
Oh, very good.
So,
It's one of the things that stops this game getting a perfect score, certainly.
is it a wavery hand out of 1, 2, 3? Or is it?
It's like the thumb's almost up, but it's not a thumbs up.
Not an extended thumb, like a monkey paw.
Yeah, it's a monkey paw.
Okay, so
that's what I give the gameplay of this game. The controls, I should say.
Okay.
The gameplay itself, the puzzle designs and the pursuits and the sort of the traversal through the world is pretty good. Number 1, the game is 3 hours-ish long.
3 hours.
So that is something that you should know going in. It ends at quite a dramatic, like, what's going on moment, and then it kind of ends there.
Okay.
But as I did say to begin with, you don't feel like you've been sold short in terms of explanation as such. There's enough there that you're not feeling like it's been left completely, like, on a cliffhanger, but I don't even know if I wish that it had ended in terms of a different place in the story.
Yeah.
Maybe that was a good place to end. But equally, Limbo and Inside,
they're about 3 or 4 hours
they're
apiece,
a
aren't
few hours long. They left me wanting more, and what more can you say than that? Point number 2 is, I mean, I've made the comparison already several times, but it's up there with Limbo and Inside. And I mean that in terms of quality, not just... it's got the same vibe or the same... Like, it's actually as good as those games.
Excellent.
And that's high praise. Like, both of those games were really well received. And this game, I actually don't know how well it's doing in terms of reviews, but I feel like it absolutely deserves as much praise. And it's sad because I don't think it's had as much... marketing,
right?
An exposure on the lead up to release. We've talked about it a little bit at What Culture, but I don't have you seen it outside of The Office?
No, not really. I mean, the trailers that you guys showed me, they were because you guys showed me.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have come across my radar, I don't think, if you hadn't have peeked.
I mean, you could say that about Limbo. Initially, that didn't have huge sales, I don't think. But then Inside, off the back of Limbo, I think that did actually have quite a big following before it came out.
Same developers, wasn't it?
It was, yes.
And that'd be why.
But Little Nightmares, I don't think I think it's the first outing for the devs. But as a first go, this is really good stuff. Number 3, there are some genuine scares in there.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's like... There's like baseline unnerving almost all the way through.
Right.
But the long-armed man who lives under the bed and is blind and you don't want to make any sound, genuinely, I really mean this, and I'm sure people who've already played this game in the comments might have like massive disagreements with this, but scarier than a clicker.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, in terms of like not wanting to make any sound, I felt like I could handle a clicker a lot better than this guy.
Well, to be honest, it sounds like the Slender Man is like coming to get you.
It's that kind of monster. It's proper like he lives in the wardrobe or like in the attic, like a real like child fear, but made into the form that's going to scare an adult.
Yeah.
And that's what they've really done well in this game is creating moments and monsters and a setting that, although their basis is like a childhood fear, they've done it in a way that, not all the way through, but I was scared at some times in this game. Like, or I'd jump, or I was like, I don't want to go over there, but I have to. And that's pretty commendable. Scary-ish game at times. Scary enough that if you like scary games, you will enjoy this.
I genuinely am really interested in it.
I really want you to play it. I really want you to play it. Like, if you think you're going to enjoy it, definitely play it because you will.
Yeah.
And if you think you don't, give it a go. Like, if you can get hold of a copy, like borrow one or rent one, or I don't know if there's a demo, but like just playing like half an hour of this game, I think you'll be hooked.
So, that was Little Nightmares. Thank you, Peter, for telling us about that. And I think that there's only one thing that's left to say, which is you can always go back to whatculture.com for more news and daily articles just like this every goddamn day. I've been Jules. He's been Peter.
We will see you next time.
Bye!
Bye.